It has returned, as I have feared. The sickness must not gain power. There is only one way to make sure this does not happen. It is up to them to push back against the coming storm. My children will fight. They will save us all.
Welcome back to the channel, Stepping Through the Gateway. Today are my special guest. Introduce yourself for us.
I'm just a player. I just enjoy all sorts of MMOs and first-person shooters. I'm just big into the gaming aspect of the community.
Hi, I am active almost everywhere in almost any community that I touch. I like to moderate, I like to do art, I like to stream, I like to do gameplay, I like to do lore speculation. I like to extend every aspect of myself 20 different directions. And then complain that I have no free time.
As you can tell, they're really, really hyped for this, and I can feel the energy. Okay, so this episode is all about empowerment and the woman's perspective in gaming.
Oh boy.
So before we start with all the heavy questions, let's dive into why we're all assembled here today, which is the wonderful, wonderful game we all are waiting for, Ashes of Creation. So let's go ahead and tell everyone how you got involved with Ashes of Creation, your plans for a race, a class if you have one, and what excites you most about the game.
Okay, whenever I tell you the game I did for in a very, very long time, I cannot help but just squeal at just, the prospect of it. I am so excited. I'm so hyped. I cannot wait. I'm planning on either going as a Ranger Rogue or Rogue Ranger, but I'm pretty sure the Ranger is going to be my main class. I got involved with Ashes through actually one of my best friends in class. He's like, hey, did you see when the launch trailers that popped up? I think it was early this year. He's like, oh yeah, just shoot it to me. And we got involved with another guild. He and I are sadly split guilds now, but he and I still talk a lot. It's just.
Can you talk about the guild that you guys are in?
We were originally in Vengeance together.
Okay.
They had to split off, and then I joined onto the guild that split off because I aligned with that leader more. And now the guild I'm in is Ember, which I am a huge part of.
Right.
I'm actually the moderator and the only moderator there, but I love it.
I kind of heard about the same, through a friend. They mentioned, hey, have you heard of this new MMO that's coming out, Ashes of Creation? And I hadn't heard anything about it. And it only took a little bit of investigation before I was completely hooked. I've always been someone who liked the idea of open world PvP. I was really big into Arcade, and this seems kind of like a better version, I guess, of Arcade, and I'm completely hooked. As for what race and class I want to play, that's kind of hard because there's so many class combinations. I kind of want to get my hands on it first before I kind of nail down a class that I want to play.
Elf Master Race.
Elf, yes.
Yes.
I can't say that out loud, but Elf, yes. Don't come for us. They're gonna come for us. You know that, right?
I don't care. Let them come.
There's gonna be a drove of just dwarfs and Tolnar coming after us.
My best friend plays dwarf.
Are you a PvP player, PvE player, or PvX player? And what draws you to those different styles?
I'm a big PvP player, and I like it because you can't predict what the other player is going to be doing, so you have to really be on your toes all the time. And I feel like it definitely helps craft you into a better player. For me personally, anyways, I like to be challenged, and there's nothing more challenging than not knowing what your opponent's going to do.
For sure. I'm right there with you. I'm a PvP player through and through. I do enjoy PvE every so often. But PvP is where it's at.
I'm heavy into PvP.
Oh, sweet. So we got a panel of PvPers.
Yes.
I have to say, I'm 50% dedicated to PvE because I love it. I love the teamwork. I love working together with people, but I love PvP because I like to think I'm very good by myself, and I like to rely only on myself.
Okay.
Oh wait, if I fuck up, okay. But if I fuck up, I don't fuck somebody else up. But it's also just really satisfying to crush somebody with your own hand.
How do you feel about the the notion that all female players play healers.
Ugh.
That's annoying. That's so annoying.
Could you tell
I
me?
have-
Can you tell me about an experience that you might have had in an MMO or just any game in general?
Well, like in World of Warcraft, I mean, you join a party and it's like, oh, are you going to be heals? Like, it's that
Yeah.
instant. I don't know. It's just that's the main
You're just like-
experience I have is like joining a party and like, oh, you must be heals, or are you going to heal, or can you switch to heals? Like, why do I have to be heals?
I break the stigma because I suck at healing. I suck.
Well, I
Which is why
enjoy healing. So
I have 4 or 5 DPS classes leveled to 60 in Final Fantasy, and I think 2 tank classes,
oh wow.
and I have 1 healer.
Oh wow. So, Wander, are you more of a DPS player or tank player?
DPS
DPS.
10
Okay.
times out of 10.
And what
Give me-
about
I like to tank.
tank? Oh,
Yes.
There we go. We have a full party right here. We have a DPS,
Yeah.
healer, and we have a tank. There we go.
To give perspective, I play Black Mage.
Sweet, let's do it. Do you want a DPS meter?
Hmm.
I'm
What is-
conflicted.
Why are you conflicted?
Well, because in World of Warcraft, I believe that the DPS meters kind of broke apart the teamwork because people were too busy arguing on who was top DPS and who wasn't, and no one was focusing on like completing the task as a group. It was more competitive on who had top DPS, who had top heals.
I'm more of a fan of just having like client side players and stuff. Cough, cough. No, we totally don't do that swearing. It's cough, cough. But that way people know for their own benefit. But if you don't want to have it, you're not forced to have it. Because me, I fuck up my rotation sometimes. Okay, I don't cast 2 flares I'm supposed to. Oops.
I agree with that. I mean, if they have the system in the game, I would like there to be a toggle for everything. You know, I'm all about choice. All about choice.
You know what I really wish MMOs would have?
What's that?
Colorblind settings.
Oh yeah.
Oh gosh, hands down. I
Yeah.
wish more games had that. It's ridiculous how many do not have that.
No, I'm actually partially colorblind. So like
Oh.
certain AoEs in Final Fantasy, I literally cannot see because they blend in with the ground.
Which colors?
For me, it's similar colors of the same shade. So it's like if you put a yellow AoE on an orange floor, I can't see it.
That sucks if you're in PvP too.
Yeah. For people who play Final Fantasy, if you're watching this, I can't see Titans I can't see Titans like line AoE when I'm fighting him. So I always fall off.
Yikes. Yes, definitely. We need to petition that for Intrepid Studios. Get
Yes,
that in the
please.
game, please. If you want this to be the MMO of your dreams or our dreams, that's something you need to implement.
Either a colorblind mode or allow us to change the colors of certain like AoE effects.
Right. They actually implemented that in Elder Scrolls Online
Yes,
a
they
couple
did.
of
I love
updates
it.
ago. Yeah, and I've heard from tons of people who were like ecstatic about it because, you know, they're like yourself. Are you both into role playing? And will you be role playing in Ashes of Creation? Let's start with Wander.
Oh, buddy. You remember that guild I was talking about before we logged on?
Yes.
I am the RP officer for that guild.
Oh, wow.
And you know the community I admin?
It's RP.
It's an RP community.
All right. So,
So yes,
what aspect of RP do you love the most?
I love just community collaboration, ideas come hyped, people doing things together. I love the collaboration. I love the interesting storylines. I love the creativity that can come out of it. I love people having fun, becoming like a nice little family. And I also love like whenever things get really tired, the people I see that can bond together the most whenever someone needs something is RP communities.
For sure.
Literally, I had somebody homeless in Houston, and I didn't add everyone. We had about 1,600 people, and that person was able to find somewhere to sleep for that night within 5 minutes.
That's amazing.
That is. That's
Yeah.
pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's a feat in itself.
Yeah, thankfully, like actually through our, like I guess through the efforts of me being an admin, applying for it, I actually became a Discord partner. So now every time Discord does like a St. Jude live stream, I can actually get on my server to participate in it.
Oh wow.
So it's really nice, and it's just.
So we're gonna come back to that. I want to get your thoughts on this, Kayla.
Yeah, go ahead.
RP. Are you involved with RP at all?
Not in particularly. I guess it depends on which game I'm playing, but for the most part, I don't participate in the RP aspect. I definitely see why people like the appeal of it. It's just for me personally, I haven't really dabbled in it too much. I guess like I'm too scared of messing up the lore. Like if it was Star Wars, I'm really into Star Wars, so I could probably I have RP'd in Star Wars, The Old Republic, but in other MMOs, I haven't really dabbled into RP too much.
Wait, you play SWTOR?
Huh?
You play SWTOR?
Yeah.
But I do like RP, and I also love Star Wars. I had the chance to play SWTOR for like a month with my boyfriend, but it wasn't really my game.
That's okay.
It's not for everybody.
Yeah. What will be the first thing you would like to do in the world of Vera?
Exploration. Like I just want to see it. It's a new world. I haven't seen it before. That's probably the first thing I'm going to want to do is just explore it, see everything that there is to see, and just lose myself in it. I don't want to stick to the very first node that I come across.
Right.
I want to explore. There might be another node that I like better, or there's a community of people that I better align myself with that's on the other side of the map rather than clinging to the very first node to come across.
Okay, I can roll with that.
I want to make as many connections as I can because I plan to be like a trader. I plan to like open my own little market. I plan to kind of get like a stock in the market and then just buy out my competition. And
good.
I'm dying to make like an RP community for Ashes. I already have a server set up.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
you- Is it one that we know
It is not.
publicly? Okay.
It's not public yet.
Okay. 2 shout outs I want to give is for AOC RP if you guys are into RP, and also on the Ashes of Creation forums under community creations you can leave stories and art, and then there's also a roleplay tavern that was set up a couple months back that's gotten some kind of movement, but it's kind of stagnant at the moment, but I'm pretty sure that'll pick up as the game gets more lore.
That kind of like makes me not want to make my own server because I don't want to steal their thunder, but at the same time I feel like it kind of needs a push. It's all speculation.
Yeah, there you go. That's the word I'm looking for. How do you feel about having a gay man representing Intrepid Studios and influencing the narrative of the MMO Ashes of Creation?
I think, but I feel like his sexuality shouldn't. It shouldn't matter what it is based on the game, but I still think it's amazing. I just think he's amazing regardless of his sexual orientation, and I think his views and his desires and dreams for this community and this game are amazing regardless of his sexuality.
I'm kind of on the same viewpoint. Like I'm happy that it's getting good representation. I'm just happy that it's a good, knowledgeable person that's doing a project like this. As somebody who has a motive to do it, has the resources available to do it. Because all too often I see people with fantastic ideas like myself who just don't have
The funds, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, or just have the funds or to have like the manpower or whatever.
Yes, it might and could possibly influence the narrative within the world itself, but I think that Steven as a person and as a player understands all of us. That's why he's making this game. What advice would you give new gamers coming to the community?
Explore, make friends, find a guild, ask questions, even if you think they're stupid. Because chances are everybody's asked that question.
I completely agree with what Wander said. Like, hands down, explore, make friends, ask questions. Like, you should never hesitate to ask questions in the community.
You'll find your
Find
group
your
of people.
niche.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go, yes.
If you like doing art, do art. If you like writing stories, write stories. If you like PvP, talk to the PvPers. If you don't know what the hell you're doing, ask questions.
Right, or just make memes.
Yes.
Everyone
Make
loves memes. There you go. The next segment of this podcast is going to be a little bit heavier.
Oh,
So, if anybody
excellent.
doesn't want to listen in on viewpoints of social issues concerning gaming, gamer girls, sexism, blah, 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 then this will be the time that you go watch something else, okay? Or listen to something else.
Can I just give like my first thought on this project?
Sure.
Ugh.
Almost for the entirety of video games' existence, the demographic has been mostly male. It is not as rare today to see a woman protagonist in video games. But years ago, it was extremely rare to see that representation outside tropes. The MMO genre was not untouched. Still today, we see and hear about women getting unwanted attention, Twitch streamers going through some unnerving stalkerish scenarios. I'm not saying that all women gamers are victims, and there are those booby streamers or gamers who use their femininity to get an advantage. However, in a Me Too and Time's Up atmosphere, girls, women, ladies, and anyone who identifies as such are now letting it be known in one voice that the attitudes in our society towards them is not acceptable. So, to my guest, what are your views on this Me Too and Time's Up movement sweeping across all areas of our society and our culture?
I think it's good. I think that women are getting more of a voice and being heard, and I think that's fantastic.
Have you been personally affected by this at all?
No, but so I can't relate on a personal level, but I can still look at the movement and be supportive of women that are coming to the forefront and speaking their stories and sharing their experiences so others can learn from them, and also so others don't feel alone.
Unpopular opinion time.
Come on,
I hate
that's fine.
Yeah, come on.
I absolutely hate it. I despise it. I despise seeing it, and not for the whole thing of like women getting to speak up, because I think that's great. I despise the fact that it's needed. I despise the fact that people are actually enjoying having to get a voice, because that's just bullshit.
That's a good point.
Like, okay, yeah, great, you're getting to speak your opinion. Why are we celebrating this? Why aren't we angry?
Right.
I don't know. But I also see people abusing it and misusing it, and that just like ruins the point. Like, so many people have like these fake stories that like prohibit the people who have actual stories from getting the support they need, because nobody takes it seriously anymore. Not like anyone takes it seriously in the first place.
I'm on board. You know, no one should be treated less than. You know, representation of women in video games in its current form. And do you think there are enough strong protagonists in video games?
2 words: booby armor.
Oh God, yes, yes.
No, I do not think there are enough strong female leads, and I have the same opinion like I did with the #MeToo movement. I think that it's bullshit. That's like I've seen it with like the newest, I think, Battlefield or Call of Duty. It's the newest game. They put a female on the cover, just to say they had a female on the cover.
That's what I hate too. It has to make sense. A woman protagonist, or just like a male protagonist, it has to make sense in the story. You can't just shove it in there.
Right.
Yeah, I'm totally okay with having media things that's like it doesn't make sense for a woman to be there. I'm totally fine with that. I don't think there should be women in everything. Just like I don't think you should force minority representation. I don't think you should force sexual representation. I don't think you should force anything.
I completely agree. Hands down.
Just can we have realistic armor, please?
That was going to be my next question, actually.
Please. If I see another set of booby armor, I'm going to scream.
It's like just a bra and thong. Like that's what it feels like. It's like, how is this going to protect me?
Right, and it's like, it's kind of one of the reasons why I love Final Fantasy XIV so much, because yeah, they have a lot of sets that can be booby armor, but you also have like a lot of like badass cloaks, and just you do have like tights, but you also get like thigh-high boots, and you get really nice stabs, and you get really nice hairstyles, and it all balances out. You can be a thought if you want to, but you don't have to.
Or like
You know.
the overly girly character run drives me crazy. Like a Peggy Bundy run, and I'm just like, why? Or like, oh, I can't lift my sword, like how she's holding it. Where you're just like, why are you holding your sword like that? Like it makes you look weak. Like, oh, my sword's so heavy, it's dragging on the ground. Like, why?
So where do you stand on this subject about bikini armor? And do you think it has a place in Ashes of Creation in any form? Go.
Well, what do you think?
I mean, the option, if there's like a scantily clad armor set that's an option, sure, for those who like to dress that way or look that way.
Make
I feel
it
like
optional, not mandatory.
exactly. The more
Bam.
options you have are great. Like, it's great, but it shouldn't be the standard.
Hashtag don't force us to be thoughts.
Yes, please.
Okay, so I think we're all in agreement. Make it an option,
Yes.
right?
We're okay with it being an option. We want to look hot, but we don't want to be forced to look hot.
Okay.
Yes.
Sometimes I want my giant sword and my giant full metal armor suit.
So since we're on the
Please?
subject of bikini armor, let's talk about booby sliders and crotch sliders.
Crotch sliders.
Yeah, I mean, there's this thing going around in the community that if we are allowed to have big old jugs, why can't we have a big old bulge? You know?
Fair.
So,
I mean, that's fair.
like, what are your thoughts?
I
I'm
think
okay
it's
with it.
fair. Yeah, I'm okay with it too. The more
You know-
more options you have in character customization, the better.
Yes. One thing I do wish.
What's that?
Have a butt slider, please.
A butt slider?
That's what ESO has. I was so happy.
Yeah,
when I saw that.
I was about to say
Final
that.
Fantasy 1.0 and then they took it away from us, and I cry.
Intrepid Studios, Steven, give us max boob sliders, max crotch sliders, max butt sliders. Is there a slider that you guys don't want in the game?
I just wish it has like realistic proportions. Like, don't force it. Don't make the boob slider from like a D cup to like a Z cup. Will make sense?
Yeah. Or like the anti-gravity jiggling when you move. Like, what's going on here? Why is that happening?
I don't.
Look, if you give us anti-gravity jiggling, give the crotches anti-gravity jiggling.
Yes, please.
Yes. Okay, guys. So our other guest has joined, so we're gonna pull her down.
Hi.
She made it. Okay. So we're
Hi,
gonna.
welcome to the shit
Yeah.
festival.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Sorry for being so late.
No, you're good. We're getting to the good stuff. So I'm gonna ask the question to you, and then you can just have at it. Okay. So bikini armor. Does it have a place in Ashes of Creation?
Oh man, I thought you were just gonna leave it at bikini armor. I was about to go.
Come on, give it to us.
Well, I
Frantic.
mean, I feel like bikini armor is something that, a lot of MMORPGs did for, for some fan service, and I feel like Ashes is
sexy
more
MMO
headed. But I feel like Ashes of Creation is definitely going down the traditional, like, D&D, Pathfinder, like, armor set kind of thing, and not so much the fan service.
Which I'm really happy to see.
Me too.
Yeah, and I
I'm-
feel like... Go ahead, sorry.
No, I was just gonna add in, like, I've been like 5 or 6 years now. And it's like it really makes me happy to see people not doing the fan service armor.
I think we all agreed before you got here that there should be an option for clothing. If players want to look like a thought, they can look like a thought. But if they want to look like a
Hashtag let us
huge
be thought.
badass, there should be options. Are you in agreement with that?
I definitely love being able to customize the way that I look. And I mean, I guess, like, there's the people that RP and they're gonna want to be able to do different things. You never know what they RP,
Right.
But then there's also people who are like, yeah, I want to be the most badass looking oracle going into this dungeon with y'all,
How old were you when you first experienced sexism in a video game? Are you still experiencing that? And how are you trying to change the narrative for other gamers?
The first time I ever experienced it, actually, I was 13, and it was way long time ago on World of Warcraft. So
Hey,
about 10
well,
years
buddy.
ago. Yeah, and well, I was just running around grabbing stuff, and this guy's like, "Oh, are you a girl? Do you need help?" And I was like, "Yes, I'm a girl, but no, I don't need help." And they're like, "Oh, you're not a real girl." I'm like, okay." And then later down the line, I ended up dueling somebody, and at that time, I was pretty good at like the hunter class, you know, and I
Mhm.
kind of
Oh,
won. Yeah, hunters for the win.
Yes.
But I kind of won, and they're like, "Shh, you're not a girl. Girls can't PvP." I'm like, "Okay, but I just kicked your
Oh,
butt." So since then, I haven't really experienced a whole lot. I mean, once in a while, sometimes people in game will realize like, "Hey, this girl's a streamer," and then like I'll get things. But I mean, I usually just parse them out to my friends and my guild members anyway. Like, well,
Yeah.
thanks. You didn't have to give it to me, but I mean, I appreciate it.
you can send them to me. I'm just kidding.
Okay, probably the first time that I experienced it was back in the RuneScape days, because I've been gaming for a really long time.
Uh-huh.
And it was more of the not believing that you're a girl because girls don't play games. And
Dude.
like, oh, well, prove it. It's always the prove it. Prove that you're a girl.
Prove that you're a dude.
Yeah.
Prove that you're a dude. Send me a dick pic, and I'll report you for sexual harassment.
That has actually happened to me before. When
I'm kidding, but I'm also not.
like, no, just like the whole prove it. You know what I mean? A little game called Terra Online. I used to play little
Big Terra fan.
Ellen Priest. So I'd wait in town and give people buffs for free. And there would be creepers in town, like, "Hey, oh, are you a girl in real life?" And obviously, I'm gonna troll them and say, "Yes, give me golds." And of course, they're like, "Oh, okay, I'll give you gold if you send me nudes." And I'm like, hold on.
And let me get you to Google porn.
I wouldn't Google porn. I would just Google like cute girl and then send him a pic, and then I'd get like 100,000 gold.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
As we're still experiencing sexism, it's still all over the place. Like, I'll command in World vs. World and Guild Wars 2, you know, and I get whispers or people assuming that I need their help, or, you know, like, "Oh, do you want me to take over? Like, who are you filling in for?" And I'm like, I'm commanding because I want to. I'm not filling in for anyone. Or
Right.
getting the unsolicited dick pic is ridiculous. I can make a coffee table book out of the unsolicited dick pics I've gotten just
God.
from Guild Wars 2 commanding.
Nice.
Like,
No,
going on our Facebook group and sending me an unsolicited dick pic at 2 a.m. and like, "Oh, sorry, I was drunk." And I'm just like, "No, you weren't."
That's
What
just
about-
crazy because I don't experience any of that, and that's like weird for me to hear for other people, especially because I mean I used to play Guild Wars 2. I used to be with a guild that was a group of friends, but they stopped playing, so I kind of stopped playing. But especially in like World of Warcraft, like nobody really like does that.
Yeah, I never experienced it in World of Warcraft.
Well, okay, so Chibi, I want to ask you. You are a cosplayer.
Cosplay friend.
Yay.
Do you experience that when you go to conventions or just out in your cosplay?
No, the group of people that I choose to hang around for cosplay are pretty positive. I mean, there are things that we hear about from other conventions that happen to other people, but I feel like, again, there's always two sides to every story, and the one that's the most juiciest usually gets the most light. As far as things like, oh, you're not like big enough, you're not too skinny for that person, you know, different things like that. I don't really hear that, especially here in the Bay Area, because when I go to conventions around here, it's not really a thing. It's more like we look for the creepy people, and then we like put up a list of like, don't talk to this person's creepy, you know. But those are usually like fans, and not anything like, oh, you're not cute enough to cosplay that person. Because especially here in the Bay Area, I mean, I'm gonna say this, I've dressed up as Slave Leia, and I've seen a couple of guys dress up as Slave Leia, so there's almost no care whatsoever.
I've seen a guy dress up a slave Leia better than me.
Pretty much, yeah. I was like, damn, okay, at least you got abs.
Damn.
Like, work. So Chibi, some of the questions I've asked before, Are you a PvP player or a PvE player?
I'm a PvE player. In fact, for the upcoming podcast that I'm gonna try to start making, I've looked high and low for people that are like primarily PvP, because I hate it and I'd rather do PvE. I'd rather do like
guess
the
what?
raids and stuff. What?
We're all.
Hey, guess what? We're all
Are you guys all
PvP.
PvE? Holy shit! Yes.
Yeah,
That
we
means I
had.
can have guests on my
Yeah,
channel
we had
now.
this discussion earlier on, so we'll go over it again.
Hey,
PvP
if
is
you need-
live, PvE is not. So,
Well, see,
Hey.
this is the
Hey.
thing. I need you guys. I need you guys.
how do you guys feel about PvEers complaining about being forced to PvP?
I have a very valid complaint. I'm sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
I only hated because of World of Warcraft. As I've explained to a couple of other people in PI and a couple of other locations, I don't like PvPing because of the way it was set up in some of the other games. And I mean, with Ashes, obviously, there's the whole if you get attacked and the other person doesn't, or the other person attacking you and you don't fight them back, then that person will, get a negative mark, basically.
Mhm.
And eventually there's going to be a bounty on their head. So basically, I normally don't like PvP because I am a noob and I will get ganked many, many times. And this has been shown many times before with World of Warcraft. There's a certain zone, it doesn't matter what realm you're on, that zone is PvP. Whether you're in a RP realm or a PvE realm or whatever, but I had such a hard time leveling in that realm because I wasn't used to trying to fight monsters and people. Like, and it's much worse when you get like a really high level person that just goes to a lower level area and just sits there and kills people all day just for the fun of it. But I feel like for me that might have killed PvP because I didn't feel one on equal terms, and two, I didn't want to, and so I felt like me constantly having to wait hours to resurrect until the person left wasn't exactly fair. As far as, again, the way Ashes is planning it, I'm very curious. On the other hand of that, I did enjoy trying to go into BGs. It just, the people there were so salty. It was just, it was either amusing or it was annoying.
If the game is built around PvP dynamics in an ever-changing world, you knew that from the beginning. So why try to change it?
My thoughts are it depends on the PvP system that they're doing. I like the idea of unconsensual PvP. I feel like Ashes is doing a good representation of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like if people don't want to, they can just be flagged as green for non-combatant. But I don't know. I mean, the more options, the better. But me personally, I don't have a problem with it. With the open world PvP, because like you said, they knew going into the game that was part of the mechanic, so it feels kind of silly to go into a game knowing that there's open world PvP and then complain about it.
That's open world PvP. How do you feel about Battlegrounds, instance PvP?
I do Frontlines a lot in Final Fantasy. If anybody hears that, I love it. 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 I love it because it's instanced. It's in a stable server. I usually don't have to worry about like different kind of mobs coming in. I know exactly who's on the field.
I like it. I like the idea of a start and a finish because when you like finish an instance PvP match or a battleground, there's like that sense of accomplishment, and it's a controlled PvP environment, which I like. But I really enjoy the start and finish to it. Unlike, well, I mean, I love open world PvP too, but I feel like having that beginning and end and your rewards is enticing.
One thing I find that's very therapeutic for me is if I'm getting pawned in open world, sometimes when I go into Battlegrounds, it's a breath of fresh air because there's not so many factors and so many things happening around me that I can just focus on the objective, get it done, in and out, and then go back to what I was doing before that. So if you guys have any projects you want to promote, a guild you want to promote, just anything in general that you want to get out there and give light to, this is the time. Okay, we'll go with Kayla.
I really don't have anything to promote personally. I just hope that people who have been on the fence about Ashes of Creation actually go in and look into it themselves, because like the wiki has a lot of information on it. Their website has a lot of information. There's tons of videos on YouTube about it. So I would like really recommend going in and digging into it for yourself and seeing the different things that might speak to you versus what speaks to other people.
I know that personally from having done some of the stress testing and from some of the outcries I hear from people in the community, there are things that are being worries at the current moment, such as with the stress test when you logged in, there was some issues with the logging in. All I have to say for those people is I think that Intrepid knows exactly what they're doing, and by the time A1 is NDA, I'm sure they already have a plan to have that all hammered out. As far as that goes, I am starting a podcast next week with called Party of Five, and there's gonna be 4 of us that are our main hosts, and then each time we're going to do a podcast, we'll bring on a guest, and that kind of rounds out the Party of 5 thing, kind of like looking for a group for the last person. But yeah,
That's cool.
the idea is just to kind of follow like a group of people's opinions over time from Alpha 1 all the way to launch and past it, just to see how like the game changes our viewpoints.
Hello. Okay, so as for stuff to plug, let's see. I of course had to plug my guild, Ember, Ashes of Creation. Sinbad's our leader. It's amazing. You should check us out. You should come say hi. I'm also gonna plug Vengeance because they were the guild I joined first, and even though I'm not a part of them anymore, I'm kind of excited to see where they are too. I'm hoping that like we can reach some sort of like good agreement because things are kind of rough right now. Oh, I want to. I know. Sorry.
You're good.
When it comes to projects, I guess the biggest thing I can plug is actually the Discord that I admin. It's called the Mateus RP Hub. I'll give you a link to put to it if you want to do that.
Yes.
But I admin it almost 24/7. It is a large-scale community for Final Fantasy XIV. We do roleplay. We help people come up with concepts. We also do a lot of content runs. It's just a gigantic, good community. And it's just like if you're looking to get an RP or if you're looking to get into Final Fantasy XIV, there is a level 35 and limited time free trial. That'll get you into the game. It'll give you like a full experience of it. I love the game. I want to see other people play the game, and for me, it's a good like time stopper. Like just kind of like edging out my hype and my wait for Ashes of Creation.
I want to thank my guests for being on today. This podcast, I don't have words right now. It was amazing. You guys were like some of my favorite guests to have on here. So I welcome you guys back anytime that you have free time. And this is actually my first, well, other than myself, all female panel. So yeah, I want to know what everyone thinks in the comments. If you want to know more about my guests, I will have links to any of their projects, their guilds, if you're interested.
Link our Discord tags.
Yeah.
We're gonna have all that in links. So yeah, thank you all for being on. And we'll see you again on the next one.